Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, broadcasting live again from Sheffield, England. Yes, I did manage to actually get to my destination finally, and so we're here for a little bit. Today, I kind of want to revisit a topic that we were discussing on Friday on the blog post, and this has to do with the whole New Avengers and Rebirth with relation to the next Legendary Trial event, which I think we think it's going to be like. I'm surprised they haven't really announced it at this point, but I think a lot of us believe it to be Norman Osborn of the Green Goblin glider variation of some kind. But we'll wait and see. I think that it's going to be next patch, obviously, and it might be a little bit late for Halloween, but hey, maybe they can still get that in. So if you're ready to go, and actually before we start, one thing is that there's been a lot of discussion about like what my channel and my videos are meant for, and so the kind of the people that I'm kind of aiming my videos towards, for those who aren't familiar with my channel, are like mid-game and casual end-game players. This is not a channel for hardcore, end-game players who want to push like difficulty 9, 8, 9, all that stuff, because that's not what I'm all about. If you want to do that, there's other channels and other content creators who can cover that kind of footage, but that's not me. I'm more about resource management and like how to do the best that you can free to play. So just letting people know, that's a disclaimer there about what we're going to be talking about in today's video. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Now, first off, we do need to come back to the original blog post from Friday when we talked about, and let's zoom in a little bit actually, if I can here. So this was from Friday, of course, when we talked about the announcement of Rebirth basically being for the next trials. So if you missed that video on Friday, so you'll need powerful squads of New Avengers and or Rebirth from difficulties 5 through 7. So what this means is that the nodes will say both. It'll say New Avengers or Rebirth. Now this is pretty familiar with past past trials, where they had the two different teams. However, if you're attempting difficulty 8 and above, you're going to need to do both. So what that means is that like one node is going to have New Avengers, one node is going to have Rebirth, something like that. That being said, what's interesting is that usually there's 3 nodes, right? Like it was nodes 2, I want to say 2, 5 or 2, 6, and 10, something like that. From the previous, from Black Cat, I think it was. Maybe it was Nova as well. Anyways, so I don't know if, it's going to be like one node is going to be New Avengers, one node is going to be Rebirth, and one node is going to be both. I mean, at the end, who knows? But this video is largely going to be targeting that difficulty 5 through 7. So, obviously if you're pushing difficulty 8 and above, you're going to need to build New Avengers and Rebirth both. You're going to need to make sure they're all like, well, basically gear tier 16 or maybe even 17, honestly, for D8 and above, depending on what kind of scourges are available. And we'll kind of touch on that a little bit in this video here too. So my plan is to do difficulty 7. I don't want to build New Avengers, and it's unfortunate, right? Because if you saw my video on Friday, I have actually built them up a little bit. And why did I do this? So Agent Coulson and Thing were basically already there. I just put gear on them. But Ronin, Mockingbird, and Tigra, I did put some gold into them. And this is because I basically needed to spend 1 million gold or so a day. And I didn't have anyone else to put it on. Honestly, I've been waiting for the Pegasus characters to unlock. I got Iron Man Infinity War to 85. And then after that, I don't have Darkhawk yet as of recording this video, and I don't have Ironheart yet as of recording this video, and so I don't really have anyone else to put the 1 million gold in. So I guess at this stage, I'm probably going to take Tigra a little bit further for that 1 million gold a day. But I just don't think that I'll end up using them in difficulty 7 of well, I mean, maybe I will, but I highly doubt it because of my Rebirth and how big my Rebirth are. And unless they just really shit the bed, but I don't think they will, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get a lot of use of this team, unfortunately, for that next trial event. Right, and especially at D7, and D7 is usually a recommended gear tier of like, I think it's 16 actually, but usually you can do it from 1 below. So it's kind of like the 15-16 range is what I'm expecting for high difficulty 7. And I just want to be very clear, for those of you who didn't watch my videos like from the past when we did Black Cat. So some of you may remember, right? Like I did Nova Sinister 6 for Black Cat. I did a high difficulty 7 run, and I managed to get 120 or so. Actually, I can probably show you my Black Cat in terms of where I landed, because I haven't got any additional shards from her after that. And that was from the first run. If my emulator would work properly here. So Black Cat is down here. Sorry, 95 out of 200. So this is what I managed to get with Black Cat for high difficulty 7 with Nova and Sinister 6. Now it was a crazy pick, and I didn't recommend everyone to do that. But my point was that I never built nowhere really outside of Nova in order to accomplish this and get this done. So you don't need to build the latest team. I mean, unless the other alternatives are really that shit. But my point was that you don't need to go hard on these trial events to actually get ahead with the 5-star. So I think that for this next legendary event, getting a 5-star is not going to be as challenging as people think it is. And I've seen the comments in my YouTube, especially for my blog video on Friday. I've seen the comments, people saying, "Oh, you need new Avengers because you're not going to be able to do D8." But I'm like, you don't need to do difficulty 8. And I think people need to drive that home in their head that you don't need to run difficulty 8 to get a good score and get 5-star plus. For real desperate, I don't know, like FOMO people who want to get a 6-star, great. Then you can do that. You can build your new Avengers, but I don't want to do that. And so this video is here to, kind of talk to those people who don't really want to build new Avengers. I don't think you'll have to. That being said, I think the best character, I don't use this team a lot right now, so I don't know who the best character standalone. I think it's Ronin, but maybe Mockingbird possibly might have some value with Rebirth because of the Avengers crossover tag with Cap. So there may be some loose synergy here actually with those characters. So that is something that I don't think anyone's touched on lately, is that the new Avengers does have the base Avengers tag, and this will synergize a little bit with Captain America. So that's going to be really interesting. So I want to pivot really quickly to Rebirth and where I'm at. And if I can find R on stupid, it's down here. Rebirth for R. So this is my Rebirth. It's very big. Most of them are geared tier Cap's geared tier 18 because I'm using him in Dark Dimension 6. So this is still the raid team that we're using in Incursion 1, and I think we will be using an Incursion 2 for a little while. I don't see Rebirth being replaced until, bare minimum, like early of next year. So we still have like 3 months. Now, if you're going from scratch, I guess my recommendation probably at that point is New Avengers. So if you have not built Rebirth, then you need to build one of them, right? And so at that point, it probably makes sense to use New Avengers. My advice for people who do have big Rebirth is to just use your Rebirth, honestly, because you're going to be able to do high difficulty 7 and walk away with a 5-star Norman Osborn or whoever the hell it happens to be, and you'll do just fine. And I want to talk about this because Captain America, he does have that Avengers tag, right? And so he does get some stuff in his kit that actually discuss, I'm pretty sure, down here, the block chance. So he'll be able to get that 100% block chance, or pretty much, whether it's Avengers, flat Avengers, or Rebirth as well. That might be the only call out, but I believe his special also does grant ability energy to random Avenger allies, so that's good there too. Now, I don't know if any of the... Does the alt have anything? No, it's Wave 1 Avengers. So I don't know if the characters from the new Avengers, if they have any, base New Avengers stuff. I don't know if they do. It's New Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know if there's any call-outs to just regular Avengers, so that would be a little... But there is for Cap, right? So that's a little bit better. Anyways, my point was that if you use any of these characters... So I forgot to bring it back up. Let's bring Rebirth back up. So the thing is that we know that U.S. Agent is flat garbage. And so he's going to be the one that you're going to be wanting to replace. I think, if you have somebody better like Ronin or Mockingbird for support, you might want to, replace them for U.S. Agent if you have someone that's geared up on the new Avengers. Because, he just has so much raid text, and I hate it. Almost everything in his kit is related to raids, and unless, caveat, if there is a raid scourge, which I'm kind of thinking there won't be. I think it's probably going to be some sort of war scourge buff again. There could be a raid one. We'll find out, right? If there's a raid buff for Rebirth, then US Agent will be fine. But if there isn't, he's kind of garbage, and you might want to take him out for somebody else. He does give block chance, he gives these stats to Rebirth allies and things like that, but it's really nothing too significant. Most of his kit does nothing, actually, outside of raids. This just does damage. It doesn't do anything else. His special does 1 ability block, and then just damage, because all this stuff is all raids. The amount of raid text in US Agent's kit is just absolutely insane. So my recommendation is to dump him unless there's a raid scourge for this next event. And so why am I talking about this? I think that, you know, for those of us, like I said, you know, the purposes of my video is resource management from a mid and, you know, casual end game perspective. And most of us, you know, who have been playing for a while will have their Rebirth up to gear tier 16, at least I would think, because that's probably what you need to like auto sim Incursion 1 and things like that, because I'm running Incursion 1.4. I'm using Rebirth to do that, and, you know, I'm simming all that with what I have. Also, Agent Venom is really, you know, most of these characters are actually decent outside of raids as well. Agent Venom's pretty good. He does some pretty high damage. Captain Carter, these three together, honestly, Cap, Agent Venom, and Captain Carter, I think will do very well in the Scourge. Or in the Trial, sorry. I don't think that there's going to be any problems for that. So I think if you have these guys to a decent degree, 85 plus, you know, you'll be able to do that difficulty 7. Now, there have been some people talking about, well, how are you going to get those empowered orbs? Because, you know, the Nova event had that. And the other thing is, too, it's going to depend on whether or not the rankings for the scores is going to be 100K or 400K. So I want to kind of, let's talk about Nova a little bit, because Nova's event have these empowered orbs and stuff. And so you need to score, I believe it was 1.1 million or whatever the case was for that. I honestly forget now, in order to get those orbs. But if I'm not mistaken, the Black Cat event did not even have them. Like, I don't think I've earned any of these orbs. So, like, where do you even get them? Does anyone know? Please leave a comment down below. Where do you have to buy them? Like I don't even know where they are. Are they only in the champion bracket for Black Cat? I mean, she's only been around once, so I don't know. But where are you supposed to get these ability materials? So that was a question that was in my Friday blog video was, well, okay, if you don't do D8, you're not going to get the empowered abilities for the new legendary. And I would say that's not true, because we don't know. For Nova, you could get it at 1.1 million. For Black Cat, you can't even get it. And so I don't know if any of that matters, because the empowered ability stuff, all of this really matters about is, if I'm not mistaken, a mirror match. That's what it's designed for. I think the expectation is that the next legendary character is going to be a Cosmic Crucible character or a Cosmic Crucible team. So if that's the case, then, you know, it's really only designed, those empowered abilities are only designed for mirror matches, which may or may not happen depending on the new season that's coming up. So my point here is that gold is a luxury. You know, gold, at least for me, you know, like I'm always low on gold. And we really need to decide what it is we want to invest on a monthly basis with our gold. And I think that if you have the option to pass on this, which would be for most, I think. So here's the thing. Don't build new Avengers if you have a high rebirth. Do difficulty 7, high difficulty 7, walk away with a 5+ star, and end your day and be happy about it. Because I think that's what you'll be able to get, honestly. Now, I guess this will depend whether or not the ranking, like I said, the ranking threshold is 100K or 400K, because that does matter with how many people are on the leaderboard. I'm hoping that they keep it like Black Cat, where it was 100K, and they just force you to use these teams, these characters for the 3 nodes or whatever, and that's fine, whatever, because we have Rebirth. What I would recommend is to people build new Avengers if you are wanting to push for D8, but you know, this is not the point of the video. The point of the video is about resource management. And so if you don't have either New Avengers or Rebirth, I think at this point I would probably go for New Avengers, because they are the newest team. And from what I heard, they're actually not terrible. They're pretty decent in War and possibly Crucible offense as well. So it's not a bad team. I'm just saying that PvP teams tend to be a luxury. That there's just, my priorities when it comes to building my roster is arena teams and raid teams. And then after all of that, if I have enough gold and other resources to build other teams, I will do so. But the amount of gold that we get on a monthly basis doesn't allow for this kind of stuff, especially if you are buying a lot of Gear 18 minis in the supply store. You guys will know that your gold goes very, very fast. So I'm just trying to caution people about this, that you don't need to do this. Like, if your goal is 4 or 5 star of the new legendary, then you'll be able to do it just fine with Rebirth. But if you don't have any of the 2 teams, build up New Avengers. You'll probably get some value. You'll definitely get some value out of it, and it's the newest team. And so if you don't have either, that's probably the best thing that you can do. But again, this is me. My name's Boilon. I talk about resource management. I talk about min-maxing your gold and stuff like that, and how you can get the best bang for your buck. And I'm telling you that it's not to build New Avengers. However, you know, with the star caveat there, that if you don't have either, then you should focus on the newer team. If you want to do D8, go ham. You're going to need G16 on like everything plus to do it probably. So, that's it. When we find out more about the event, though, we'll be talking about that more, of course, as well. So that's just kind of a Monday roundup. I wanted to talk about my thoughts about this more broadly and kind of expand on it a little bit more. And I hope that it helped. Otherwise, leave any questions, concerns, or queries in the comments down below. And of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy. And I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.